Welcome back to another devlog video. This is mostly going to be a reference on my procedure for getting animations into Godot from Mixamo. So there's an add-on called Mixamo Root. It's been forked several times. The current, I guess, mostly maintained version is here from Finepoint CGI. And you can just download it through the source code, the zip here. Um, However, if you go to the forks, currently I have one that's been updated recently for some bone renaming issues. If that isn't in my pull request, hasn't gone through, then you can download mine or just one from Finepoint and rename the bones yourself. So I've already got it in my blender. Next thing is Mixamo. What you'll do is under the animation tab, doesn't matter what character you're using. I usually use the Xbot character here. Then you'll pick some animation that you want. Go silly dancing. I'm going to download it without skin as an FBX. Now we have the download here. Just for organization, I've created a master library folder here. I'm going to move that into the miscellaneous animation. You can see silly dancing there. Open Blender. Get rid of all the default collection items. If you haven't already, preferences, you'll install from your downloads folder the Mixamo root. And you should see here, you'll have to hit the checkbox to enable it. Once you do, you'll have this Mixamo tab. Check the insert root bone. Remove prefixes. So the prefix here will be removed. The Mixamo rigs all have Mixamo rig before all the bone names and include in the animations as well. So this will get rid of all of that, kind of clean it up. You don't need to change the hip bone name or the root name, and then delete armatures. So what this does is every animation is loaded in as a separate armature. This will delete them all, put all your animations on a single armature. What you're going to do is then look for your folder that you kept all your animations in. So if you have singular animations, you're going to want to put them into some sort of folder. So right now we're opening the miscellaneous folder. Accept, import animations. You should see a single armature. It'll have a number depending on how many animations were loaded in. You can rename that if you want. And as you can see here, the root is called root, and the hips have been added as a child within the root. So at this point, you're good to export this as a GLB file. So save this first. And Linus. So we're gonna export GLB file. Don't really need to change anything. If you limit the selection, then make sure you select it, but there shouldn't be anything else in your scene. You can just export this GLB file. And as you can see, the animation plays. If you go to the action editor, you should be able to see all your different animations in there. And because these are root motion, you'll see the character moves off of the 0, 0 position. And that's why we've had to add the root bone for Godot. An example of what these FBX files look like without going through all the root motion add-on. We load these in, you can see that the root bone is the hips here. We should be able to copy that into our Godot folder. So, root motion, miscellaneous. We have our exported GLB file here. Copy that. I currently have a asset folder with the animations for biped characters. And then within Godot, this is the biped folder here, and it's currently being imported as a scene. What we want to do is import it as animation library. All the default settings are fine, unless you change the frames per second. And then you'll hit re-import. Then click on advanced. On the skeleton 3D, we're going to give this a new bone map. And then you'll expand the bone map, give it a new skeleton profile humanoid, and then hit re-import again. Now this should be properly set up, and you can test that by adding it onto an armature. So I have a sample armature here. When exporting sample armature, you need to do the same bone map again. That way the animations apply. And in this armature scene, in the animation player, animation, manage animations, this is where you'll add your new libraries. The load library, assets, here, the miscellaneous GLB file. And then you can see that it's been added to this armature. And I'm currently using an animation tree, but what we can do to test it is add an animation and miscellaneous zombie crawl here. You can see the armature is moving around. Another important note is the animation player here under root motion. You need to select the track or the root bone of your skeleton. It should be called root if you use that add-on. That should be everything for loading animations into your characters.